Have you ever wanted to make money from a podcast as a guest, but you couldn't figure out how? Well, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down how you can make money from a podcast before the podcast even drops. Stay locked in. Let's get it. All right, y'all. So listen, if you dial into my content, my information, you already know I'm arguably the podcast king. I didn't say it. They said it. But one of the strategies that I feel like helped me in this high regard is how I'm able to monetize podcasts so many different ways. So I'm speaking to you right there. Someone that wants to go on a show, but they don't want to wait for the content. They don't want to wait for the podcast to drop. These are key details and a key strategy so you can monetize before you even leave the studio. Crazy, right? So let me break it down. So first, you got to make sure that you have a strategy, right? You got a mission. One of the missions that I share with my guests that are going on podcasts is make sure they get edification videos. So here are 3 videos that you should be getting before you even leave the studio. Number 1, you want a video of the host edifying you and your offer. I'll give you an example. Podcast is over. Host name is Sarah. Hey, Sarah, listen, we just went crazy on a podcast. We talked about A, B, and C. Sarah, let the people know why A, B, and C is powerful, why they need to lock in with A, B, and C. Sarah goes crazy. What you just did was, by default, get Sarah to edify you and edify your offer. Now, if Sarah has a good following, if people locked into Sarah, or if you got a good following, people locked in with you, you post that video as a reel, her edification, her cosign is now going to allow you to either book some calls, get some conversations in the DM, and close some sales. Another powerful video that you need is edifying Sarah in her podcast. Hey, listen, I just went crazy on the XYZ Sarah podcast. We talked about boom, 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 boom. Sarah, let them know why your podcast is number 1 in the industry, right? Shoot that story. What you effectively just did was create another piece of content that Sarah is 100% going to post on her story. Why? Because you're edifying her, you're edifying her work, you're edifying the podcast. Now, you effectively got her to post you in front of her audience before the podcast even dropped. Again, this is going to lead to booker calls. It can lead to conversations in the DMs. It can lead into money. Here's another video that you need to get, right? Especially if you're going on, like, let's say a top podcast or influential podcast. But even if you're going on a podcast that's not a top podcast, you still want to make sure you have this strategy. Bring a extra shooter. Now, the shooter doesn't necessarily have to be a top gun. It could be your friend, it could be your girl, it could be your boyfriend, it could be your cousin, it could be your little brother. Someone that can get behind the scene clips. You want multiple clips. I say anywhere from like 5 to 10 clips, right? Once a podcast is over, you can go to like captions.ai, you can go to InShot, CapCut, whatever your editing is on your phone, and you can piece together these clips to show that you came on a podcast. Different angles of you speaking, different angles of you interacting with the host, different angles. Maybe you be walking in, maybe you're leaving, whatever's going on. What this video shows is motion, and people respect motion. What's that mean? They're like, damn, Brenda's moving over here. He's moving over here. He's sitting down with this person. He's sitting down with this person. That again is gonna encourage booker calls, messages in the DMs, comments under the videos will also engage in closings on your offer. People are watching you. Regardless of what the views, the shares, and the saves say, people are paying attention because not everyone is going to interact with a share, a save, a like, right? They're going to be interacting by just watching you. There's people right now that are watching you, seeing if you're the right person to help them with your product and your service. But you posting these edification videos, you posting these BTS videos, you showing emotion is going to result in more calls, more conversations, more engagements, and more sales. I'm going to show you something in real time. I made $70K with a podcast that I shot with Wes Watson before the podcast even dropped because I used these strategies. I made an edification video of me edifying him. I made an edification video of him edifying me and my offer. And then I had this video that showed basically a vlog of us going to the pod, shooting the pod, and what happened after the pod. As a result, the comments was commenting. The booker calls was booking and calling, right? The DMs were DMing. And I was able to make $70K because I closed high ticket deals literally in 24 to 48 hours directly after that podcast. You should be doing this after every single podcast that you're on. You shouldn't be waiting for the podcast to drop. You shouldn't be waiting for you to get the files. You should not be relying on the podcast to do all the heavy lifting. work the work, come in with a strategy. This is literally what I call the pre-podcast guessing strategy. These 3 videos, and there's so much more I can give you, but these 3 videos will 100% put you in position to make more money. And especially when it comes down to the host that is gonna be running the podcast, this might be somebody that already has influence or email list or a crazy following or something like that. But even if they don't, it doesn't negate that these videos will still produce a result for you. So if you like this video, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. We're on the path to 100K. We need your help. Share this video with somebody that you know, and we cannot wait to see you in another one. Let's get it.